Hello, welcome to Special Interest Unit. I'm Terryn,
I'm Kalli.
and we're going to talk about whatever special interest we have, and there's a lot of them. But today we are talking about Law and Order.
Which is where
Hopefully you
the
enjoyed our
special
yeah
interest unit came from.
yeah the title comes from. Hopefully you enjoyed. We did an unboxing video, we did an introduction video, but today's video was different because I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I was arched beyond belief that we have to talk about it today. So, what we're going to talk about
Because, oh boy,
is
has it
oh
been a
boy.
problem?
It's been a huge problem. And, as many people, probably who watch TV shows, everyone's fandom is problematic in some way or another, okay? There's no
This one is
perfect fandom. There is no perfect fandom, okay? But I think this one is particularly specific and problematic in a way that we need to talk about it because,
because it's a show about survivors.
yes,
There shouldn't be
and
bullying.
yes, there should not be. This is how we're going to talk about it. So, if you don't know what we're talking about by now, we are talking about Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which is, going
The
into its
best,
26 seasons.
the best show on
Wow, so
television,
dirty.
in my
Yes,
opinion.
our favorite show. Literally our favorite show. My glasses are so dirty. But it really drives me crazy how much bullying occurs in this fandom as someone who's been watching, like, been a part of the fandom online for maybe about 4 years now. Um, and basically, I was gonna make this video. I mean, I always want to talk about this topic. It's been on my mind for a while. But basically, here's why we're talking about this particularly today. So the other day, I made a tweet. Well, I retweeted the USA page, USA Network's page, and their tweet was talking about that scene in the Christmas episode of Organized Karma. If you never watched it, I can't show it to you because copyright claim. But
You have to go Google it yourself.
you have to Google it yourself, but I can describe it to you. I can't show you because copyright claim. But he was trying to get a lady's attention. He kind of grabbed her arm, and then I kind of made this tweet being like, "This is not like cute. You do not glamorize this kind of behavior."
Which is
And
correct. No guy should be grabbing a girl's arm for any
yes,
reason.
yes. And I said don't glamorize this kind of behavior. And then next thing I know, I'm being retweeted a million times by EO shippers saying that well, we ship Barson obviously, but still that's not the point of this, okay?
It's
We're
not.
not talking about
Literally,
Barson
this is
today.
a
We have
ship
plenty of episodes
aside.
about Barson. We've had a billion episodes on our podcast. I'm talking about Barson, but we're not talking about Barson today. But we're talking about the fact that that was their main attack against me, and then that tweet got 15,000 views.
Yours?
15,000. Yes. It was viewed
Damn.
15,000 times. It was retweeted 33 times. Half of the tweets I cannot see it because they're behind private accounts. They're talking about me. So that's not and then only one person. There's only besides our friends that it was if this was anybody else doing this kind of stuff, it would be a problem because it's Olivia and Olivia. People think it's fine, which is the only take I agree with. This person came from an EO, so that's fine with me. Yes. So that so basically what I was going to say was Law and Order Champion. This show, particularly Special Victims Unit Champion, is about championing survivors of SA. You can't say the word; these people come get you. Overcoming hard things, and that's the goal. Anything with character subplot is B plot, even C plot. So any romantic stuff between characters, stuff like that, that's B plot or C plot.
Don't get
That's
me
not the point of the
wrong.
show.
Yes, viewers like personal
Yeah,
stories. It's not the
but
important thing of the
yeah,
show.
they're not the important thing of the show because that's not what the show is about. That just makes it more drama. It
It's
adds
not
more
why
drama,
we're
make it more
here.
interesting. But it's not why we're here, and I think that gets lost. And it gets lost so easily, especially ever since Elliot came back, it's been real lost among people, and it's just not good. Um, but what you don't expect is the mass amount of bullying from the fandom. They particularly for people who us who have different opinions on which we're gonna get to in a minute about why you should not be shipping that. But particularly also bullying actors and actresses of the show because a
Leave
lot of
us
people,
alone.
yes, particularly I think about Isabel Gillies who plays Kathy Stabler.
Like,
Uh,
first off, you all liked her for 13 years. And then
yes,
and then they Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Her
if you
character,
don't know by now, then you've been gone for like 4 years. Okay, sorry, this is a change.
her character, and then you all started hating her. Like, seriously.
Well, Cinder's always been that. I mean, the more you like look back on it, it's not necessarily always been this way. I feel like they went back to hate on her once Organized Crime came on, and it became
Yeah,
such a
that was my point.
huge problem. Isabella's talked about it personally about how much I wish I had done the research and like gotten the information, but I forgot. Particularly about like her experience with the fandom and how like they sent hate letters, and that was crazy. They also there was hate letters sent to I forgot her name, but
Connie
she
Nielsen?
played yes, that's
Danny
her. She
Nielsen.
also yes, yeah, she talks about she still gets hate mail,
She
which
hasn't
is
been on the
crazy.
show
It's
since
like
like
15
season 8.
years. Yeah, okay, you gotta let it go, okay? It's not
These
like
are these are actual people.
with actual feelings, and this is very problematic. And
Yeah.
I think that it's just to represent such a show like this and to be such horrible to people, like that's not the point. That's like even Mariska has talked about like you got to stop bullying people like that's not cool. Like there's a
Right.
video
This
of like
is a
she
woman
talks
who's
to
been
a
on the
fan about
show
it.
for 26 years.
Yes, like
You
please
say
stop
you're
doing
a
that.
okay, I gotta say something. You say you're a
Yeah,
fan of hers, but
yeah,
if you're
this is what
bullying,
this whole video is about. So say
no.
whatever you want to say. Say whatever you want to say.
You
So
say
yes,
you're a
even
fan of
like
hers, but if you're really choosing to use your time to uh say crap about other actors and other people, then you're the exact opposite
what you're supposed
of
to be
what
doing.
she
Also,
wants.
yes, even people there's a lot of people who talk about her husband, which is also such a very weird. There's even
Fandom.
like a weird parody account. I'm not gonna say what it is because it's just like not gonna give that account that kind of attention. But it's like a parody, and it's really like awful, and they say a lot of bad things on there.
Bad.
And
It's a
we can't get them.
Cinderella.
They can't get banned on X because it's a parody account, and that typically is fine under the rules. Don't ask why. You can take it up with Elon. But
Stupid.
yes, I had something to say about that. Talk about so the mass amount of bullying is crazy. Even they bully Mariska a lot, which is pretty awful. About like, we was talk about like she can't Mariska cannot champion every single world problem. Okay, it's just not possible. Two,
The woman is busy. She has children. She is an
yes,
executive
two.
producer on the show. Leave her
A lot
alone.
of people, yes, a lot of people also have a problem with her. Like, people don't think she's pushing EO hard enough, which we're gonna talk about in a second about why you should not be doing that. But um maybe nobody's ever asked. Maybe she doesn't want that, and because maybe you
Yeah,
were so
literally. We all
gross. We'll get
assume
to
she
that.
wants
We'll
it,
get to that.
but like, and yeah, some interviews are like maybe, but like we really don't know.
You don't know, and it's not really her call. That's a Dick Wolf call. That's not even like something she can make that decision on. That's a top of the chain NBC kind of.
At this point,
She
I'm
has
pretty.
pull. She has
Yeah, at
some
this
pull on
point,
it,
I'm pretty
but
sure
not
if
the final say.
anybody can like counteract
Not the
it,
final. She's gonna get the
it's
final
her.
say, but she gets some pull in that. But still,
But then again, she
um,
tried saving Kelly, and that didn't happen.
yeah. Yes, but that's a higher up. The higher ups get to decide that kind
Stupid
of
higher
thing.
ups.
Yeah, that's up to them. But also, like, I'm gonna skip around a little bit in my notes because that's something I want to talk about. Uh, what Joyful Heart has talked a lot about is image-based essay, and if you don't know, you should know by now. It is illegal to make deep fake images of people without their consent. So, a lot of people have been making these very dirty images of Alia and Olivia, even
Stop
though
it.
like multiple people, please stop doing that. That literally is actually a
It's
crime.
gross. Ew.
It's gross and it's a
Grow
crime.
up.
So stop
Stop
doing
it.
that. Stop. It's a crime. You can be in trouble for that. Stop doing that. Okay. Stop. That's just not okay. It's not cool. And that's very much anti what the show was about. So please stop doing that. You got to
There's
stop.
literally episodes about why
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah. And I'm surprised there's not more. There might be some more next season, but we'll see.
Yeah, with all the stuff that's been going on, there might be more, but
There probably is more. Yes. Uh Okay, so then the next, so basically, like we said before, you gotta stop bullying people. Please stop doing that. That's not okay. That's not cool. Because as much as people don't want to like talk about it, like those kind of things really hurt people. And like people are driven away from being a part of like such an amazing, well, most sometimes amazing fandom because words really do hurt people. And I think people should think a lot more before what they put on the internet.
Like, not
Because
even
those kind of things still follow you around.
if it's not enough for if them seeing it is not going to be a problem for you, imagine if their children saw it.
Yes. Or even your parents saw it. You know, if you the people
Or
like what
their
you said, you
parents,
didn't
their
want your mom
parents.
saying it. You don't want to do it, okay? That's not cool. Don't do it. That stuff follows you around. You don't know like the mental health of certain people, and that could be a really bad thing for them for you to say such awful things about them on the internet. Cyberbullying is bad.
Yes.
Literally, there's children particularly who lose their lives over cyberbullying. So please stop doing that. And I will make sure I will link resources if you need those because that's an important thing. But that's something that like ooh, it just really irks me. So please stop cyberbullying people. That's not the point of the show. That's not the point of like a Law and Order Special Victims Unit. It's so much more than that, and it's not just about uh a romantic people. I don't want to say it in the way they say it because it's pretty disgusting how people describe it. It's not about that. It's not about like um shipping Elliot and Olivia because that's not a ship you should really be shipping, which is to the point that Mikey just canceled. But I don't really care. I don't care. This
Well,
is this is
we've been
something
saying it
important.
for years. Who
We've been
cares?
saying it for years. I don't care. You know, this is even monetized anyway. I don't care. What are you gonna do? I don't care. So what I wanted to talk about is for one, doing this shipping Elliot and Olivia glamorizes bullying. I think in a sense, like yes, Elliot is sometimes a good cop. But you know, we're in 2024. You cannot beat up perps and suspects just because they do these things. Because even like they
Just
talk about in the
because you
show,
can.
that leads to false convictions, and that's like a real life thing that leads to false convictions. And you know,
Like,
and we talk
basically,
about
like somebody will confess
people
to a
are
crime they
coerced. And
didn't do just so they could stop getting hit.
it's like that. That's not cool. Like that's not okay. We have been lived through 2020. We cannot
Be
have this
legit.
kind of this in our police work, and it's
We
not.
go
And it
back
wasn't
to
acceptable then. But I think in the early 2000s, particularly, you know, I did a project on this, so I'm talking about like I know that kind of police work was glamorized, like beat up the suspects, beat up the perp. But we can't live like that anymore. We've become more humane in the way that we deal with crime because we can't do police work like that anymore. Even like you can see that on Law on SVU that like things have changed since the early seasons to 25. Like there's there's not nowhere near as much there's pretty violent stuff, but there's more we solve cases the correct way. We don't coerce. We don't
organized
coerce.
crime, on the other hand,
Yeah,
has
that's what they have gotten it wrong here in the sense that like
Elliot
we'll talk
still
about
beating people up
yes,
to
which is
get
still
convictions
yeah.
and find people. And,
They don't
well,
focus a lot on the court side of things in organized crime, and that would be their downfall because if they took those cases to court,
they'd all be gone.
they're done. A defense attorney would tear them up. We obviously know this, okay? You know a defense attorney would tear it up here.
There
You
was at
know,
one point
versus what you believe.
last season that Elliot's violence got so bad it affected somebody else and they started becoming violent. And he never was before. So
He is. And they're like,
stop
they let it slide.
influencing
There's a whole,
people.
we've talked about this in our review episodes about like how he got away with like IAB was ready to be like, we're taking your match and got away with it because another crime was happening. And he needed to be there. Like that's not how this works because you know,
Yeah.
we know better. We know
People have
police work doesn't
wanted
work
to
like
take
that.
his
We
badge
know.
away for many, many, many times.
Yes. And we can't let this like alpha male ordeal decide how we do police work. And you know, as we know, people of color who are often, you know, punished harsher than white police officers. We know that from real life. And we can't let TV shows still carry on that narrative. Like that's something that's very frustrating to me about organized crime is that like and so you also did it a lot, that like we let this kind of stuff slide and it's not cool, it's not okay. We can't continue to live like that. So, yes. And like, yes, like even like the show knowledge is they get false convictions. Like Olivia said, like because of Elliot, false convictions have occurred. Yeah. And we can't miss, and we can't. There's a lot of like older episodes where they're like there's derogatory words used, particularly about like the LGBT community, which we're no longer words we can no longer say anymore. And like we have to mature, and like they kind of let Elliot live in this like old good old boy
Old
cop
boy,
mentality
can
where
do whatever
we
I want.
yeah, we can't do that anymore. Like it's not cool, it's not cute, it's not something that people should let slide, because real life content, we know what real life looks like and we want better, so our TV should be
And if you
better,
think it's bad
because
and
we watch TV to be like see the good in the world, but when it's not happening it becomes frustrating.
if you think that's a problem, if you don't think it's a problem, I'm gonna ask you to take a second to look up who's in his squad. He has a black
Yes.
sergeant,
He's constantly undermined by him.
yeah, an Hispanic detective, fellow detective, and a young female detective. All
Who they all
three
get
of
undermined because he can do what he wants, and that's
yeah,
not.
and all three of them have seen him commit this violence.
And they're
Heck,
like, "Well, what do we do?" And
sometimes
they all kind of
sometimes it's against other Hispanic people and black people.
yes, yeah, and they don't get that like chance to be like, "Hey, you were wrong." They don't get to
We had
put
it
that out there.
one time
Yeah, and
where
this is what we're talking about.
his
Yes,
sergeant said he was profiling. We got it.
yes,
It's
at the
canon,
beginning,
and
and
they
then they never
fucking
brushed
dropped
it.
it because apparently he can do
Yes,
whatever he wants.
yes, and that's we talked about this before. This is why organized crime became a flop, because they
Unfortunately,
took too much. Unfortunately, it became a flop because they put too much emphasis on Elliot, and people don't like that kind of police work. A lot
nobody
of people
wants
we
that.
know, who said were like, I would like this show,
If
except
he
I don't
wasn't
want to
there,
watch that. Yeah,
if
and
Ellie
that's
wasn't
their
in the
biggest
show, they
flaw.
would watch it because the other
Yeah,
three characters
yes, it's fantastic. It's
are
great.
amazing. The cops that we need in this
Yes, and
generation.
yeah, exactly. But they don't give it. I'm talking really loud because I feel aggressive today. Um,
I mean, thankfully, we still have season 5 on Peacock, so it's not totally
yes,
gone.
it's coming.
But
But
maybe
who
if they
knows?
take it
It
a
still
different
puts it on
direction, it
there.
would be on NBC still.
Yeah, who knows what'll happen? But you know, they can figure out negotiate whatever happens. But that's something that is something that we have to deal with and address, because if we don't, well, we're kind of stuck in this endless cycle of watching police work fail. Because there's like a whole like thing you can read on an article talking about how like special victims unit in real life is not very effective. They aren't like their statistics are low compared to like, a TV show version of it. Police work, you know, TV shows police solve the case. That stuff doesn't happen in real life. So we want better. We have to make our voices heard and do better. We cannot glamorize this idea of the white male cop being the hero. Like, yes, there are good ones, but this kind of thing is kind of like a problem.
Like we have 2 good ones on SVU, 1 male and 1
Yes,
female. They
yes,
don't need
and things
to kick anybody's ass to do their job.
no, yeah, because it's not necessary. We know better, so we have to do better. So, from going to that angle, we're gonna pivot a little bit, talking about how this kind of behavior affects other people in Elliot's life, and he doesn't think about it, particularly Olivia.
Mm,
Um, so there's a couple of episodes I took note. I don't have them on these notes, but I have them in like other things I can talk about them, about how Elliot actually is a bully to Olivia, whether you realize it or not. It's a subconscious thing that like once people show you, you see it. But if you don't talk about it, people will literally gaslight you into saying you're wrong, because that's how it is on the internet. That's how people are on X. I don't care. Literally. He's proven to be very jealous and manipulative and controlling. There's plenty of instances in which this is not. Particularly, there's one episode earlier in I don't know, pull up some. I have it written down because I use this in my defense when people tell me I am wrong. Hold on, I reorganized
You
all
can't
my
do it
notes and I
really
don't know where things are.
fix
Hello,
things.
I reorganized stuff and I don't know where it's my phone. It's in my phone. I have
We
my
keep
iPad to
notes
the
so you
side.
can prove we're right.
Um, um, oh, it's where is it? I have it. Where is it? I have it. Not that, not that, not that. Oh, okay, so it's the episode Wrath, and you have to release in 3-2. There's a serial K word, I can't say that word, I don't think.
Probably
Um,
not.
yeah, but this person finds Lydia's house and is stalking her, and like Elliot puts on a particular detail on her house, even though she said not to. And the dialogue goes to like this. He says, I didn't tell you about the detail because I know you refused. And then she says, only the rat squad puts cops on other cops, even without telling them that. I deserve better than that, especially from you. And then he kind of like pivots and says, like, even under a lot of stress lately, and he says, I've always backed your play. He says, I did what I had to do. This guy's, four people. What's stopping from coming after you? And then she says, if you can't trust your partner, Elliot, it's time to get a new one. And like how that
Mhm.
even this early on in the show, Olivia does not want other people protecting her, which we'll get to in a little bit. Olivia doesn't like that kind of like people being on top of her being like, you need to do this because she doesn't want that. And like there's no excuse for that. Olivia never really dated anybody when Ellie was around either. He's always been like
She went
weirdly
on
like
like small dates and then
uh it never
did
went any
stuff.
further. And like that's kind of because like he's always like in the background being all weird about it. He's always like been in that like downright. So the next episode I want to talk about is Fault, because Fault is one that like
That
I
one. I knew it
hate.
was coming.
I hate when people romanticize this episode because it makes me so
It's
mad because that's
sucks.
not where did
I
it
mean, okay, it
hold on.
doesn't suck, but like it's not good that people are trying to romanticize what happens on it.
Where is it? Um I like have all these in a note. Uh, I keep a lot of notes of stuff because I have so then there's this scene in which a child is K-worded by this serial person who's kidnapped them, and Elliot is distracted because the guy has a knife to Olivia's neck and he gets distracted, and then like the child is that happened bad thing happened to that child. And so basically he kind of Elliot's been kind of like passive aggressive with her, and she's like, if you have something to say you need to say it to my face. And he basically is like, she's like, why didn't you shoot the guy? Why didn't he did say he didn't want her to he said, why didn't you let him get so close to her? He kind of starts playing the blame on her, saying it's like, why didn't you let that guy get so close to you? And he's like, well, it happened. And then she said, this is my fault. And then he's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't be looking over your shoulder making sure you're okay. And then she says, you know that isn't true. And then he's like, I need you to know you can do your job and I wait for you to come to rescue me. And like Crane comes by and they kind of like stop arguing. And then like later on in the episode, Elliot talks to Dr. Wong, and he's like, Elliot's like, she made me look away. And he's like, what are you talking about? How did she make you? And
Dude's
like,
obsessed.
yeah, it kind of becomes a problem. And like, towards if you watch the end of the episode, Olivia like is like, I'm gonna step back from SVU because there's a whole scene where like he has a gun to his head, and like Olivia like has to save him,
She keeps
and she says
asking.
she
She
did it.
asks for a new partner.
Yeah, because she says like, I did this to make sure your children have their father. Like I did this for you. And like he immediately changed the subject and was like, that it's your fault that this happened. And that's not okay. And it's not romantic, it's not cute. And I don't like people romanticizing that. Yes, and I
No.
think this. I haven't seen a different now, even this whole notes, but it says like this is why I think Olivia struggles with needing help because people this happens, and she doesn't want to be yelled at for being helpless because that she always puts her guard up when like a situation like this happens. Which is why the people versus the people versus Richard Wheatley in a final call at Friendly's bar are like such a different. Her conversation with Raphael is different because I think this kind of stuff is still in the back of her head, whether they like put it out there or not. Um, yeah, and because in the next episode, Elliot does get a new partner, and then he starts criticizing. He was a black man he criticizes him for being too violent, but he does the exact same thing. Like, oh, you're not your math is not mathing here. And then there's another episode where Elliot talks about there's a
Yeah,
couple who's in an
actually,
abusive
hold on.
relationship.
I gotta say something about that. You
Yeah,
make a good point. To Elliot, he's not violent. If somebody else does the exact same thing he does,
it's a problem.
it's a problem.
Yes, there's another
He
episode.
doesn't see himself as a problem when he is indeed part of the problem.
So there's another episode of Burn, which is 811. There's a couple in an abusive relationship. And Elliot told her, "You've got blinders on. I'm the longest relationship you've had with a man. You have no idea how bad things can get when a couple goes sour." And then she says, "In the 8 years I've been in this unit, I don't need to be married to know when an abusive man is escalating."
Correct.
Like they have these kind of conversations, and then I have this like in a whole like my defense case. So there's another one in 1010, which is smut. Olivia wants to protect the victim, but Elliot went behind her back and caught the perp anyway and put the information about the victims out there, and then they're arguing, and he said, "You can't change what happened," and she says, "I can protect her from the damage." He says, "No, you can't. You should know better than anyone." Like
Excuse me?
like no, no, we have to do better than this. Like um the next thing is daddy issues are not an excuse to be angry. Okay, because literally everyone on SVU
Has fucking daddy issues in one way
has
or
daddy
another.
issues. Either they're small, like maybe people on the like smaller end of having daddy issues might be like Carisi. That's like he may
He's
have
like the
some
smallest.
gripes with his fathers, but he doesn't talk about it, so we don't really know how deep that goes.
Let's see.
But like we
Let's
have
see.
people like
Olivia's dad was a
is
R word.
yeah.
Amanda's dad was abusive. Um,
Finn's dad also
Finn's dad
was
was
also talk
abusive. Bruno's
bad
dad was
personal,
abusive. Nick's
bad
dad
personal.
was abusive. Raphael's dad was abusive. Heck, Noah's dad is
Yeah.
in
Literally
our
everyone has
word.
daddy issues on the show.
Um,
Everyone has daddy issues, but
Even on
most of
organized
the people,
crime, people have
yeah,
daddy
they do.
issues, and they're not
Yes,
punching
but
people.
yeah, they work through
Listen,
their problems with therapy, which is what the whole thing about what therapy does, anger management and therapy. Like, you can do those things. It does not make you less masculine to go do those things. Like, because Elliot talks about it. Like, he went one time because he like punched a wall and was like, "I need to go get some help." And like he talks about his issues, this situation with his father, about like the problems. And then like organized Comcast because this kind of thing, but they forget that all even happened, and they like try to write this like secondary plot line about his dad because what SVU says and what organized Comcast says are two different things. They kind of contradict themselves a little bit, whether they realize it or not. Like whoever wrote though that arc did not watch SVU. Like there's some the math's not mathing. Yeah. And you can go to therapy, like we go to therapy. It's great. Um, but like it should not be a problem to like work through your issues because like it becomes to a point, it becomes an excuse. Like it's not an excuse. Like you can get the help you need and like that would be fine. If Elliot turned a new leaf and was like, I'm gonna be a better person, okay, I could vibe with that. But like he doesn't see a problem with his issues. Therefore, it just becomes an endless cycle. But then another thing that like is a big thing I thought about when one of our friends said it, how like in the Return of the Prodigal Son, they did not research on what the prodigal son actually meant. Okay,
yeah, legit. It's not a good
the
thing.
prodigal, no, they did not read what that meant. They didn't read the story because they didn't. Obviously, I'm also a religion nerd. That's why I'm talking about. Like the prodigal son comes home because he wasted all of his money and had nothing. He's like, I can go home to my dad and he will take care of me. Or I hope he will take care of me. So like the prodigal coming home, mm,
Isn't a good thing.
mm. But like so like when you watch the part of the prodigal son, you do real like Elliot was not supposed to take that case to SVU. It is Kathy being blown up was not an SVU case. That is a someone else's department. Well, eventually it turns to homicide, but that was not their case. He did not need to take it to SVU, but they took it to SVU, and that became a
Because it was
problem
him.
later on. Yes, because it was him. He seems I don't know how aware he was of it or not, but he knew his power with Olivia that he could get whatever he wanted out of it. He could get the go vigilante and it be fine because they were covering for him. Because even like later on, Carisi talks to Olivia about how like the eighth floor is pissed because this happened. They're like, that should not have happened. That's not how this works. That will
But, it
that will
didn't
be your
matter
downfall. And
because
it was. Because when
yeah,
they
that's
went to
the
court
thing.
on them, the people versus Richard Willie,
Everything
when they go to court on it becomes a
about this
problem.
trial, like, everybody else was like, "This isn't good," but
Yeah.
Stabler's like, "It's fine," so then they all just
Yeah.
did
They
it.
put him on the stand and it became a problem. And got held
That's
in
nasty.
contempt. It was just like he doesn't want to take accountability that like it's his own fault that that case went down because they went with no evidence basically.
Yeah.
They went with
He
no
exploded
evidence.
on the stand, and then the case exploded.
Yeah, it already was bad, and that made it worse. And it's his fault. It's not anyone else's. You can't necessarily put the blame on anyone else in the situation because like he knew what he was doing and he messed it up. And then like particularly in that episode, like I show this scene a lot when I talk to people about how like he does like they're in the interrogation room and like they're interrogating. For some reason, Elliot tells Olivia. Olivia lets him in the interrogation. You shouldn't have done. Period.
No.
But like the purpose in between them and like Elliot's trying to get to the purpose and Olivia gets between him and he like grabs her arm searching her like that's not cute. Stop glamorizing that. Please stop.
He
If I
could
see it
have
again, I'm gonna have a
hurt her.
meltdown. Yeah, it literally is a problem. Like the way he's grabbing her with such force and like it's not fine. It happens again in another episode and like that like three-way crossover, which kind of was a flop too. But that three-way crossover flop, sorry. I had to put that out there.
Yeah, it
That
could
becomes a problem. And then like in the Christmas episode, he kind of like this is when he grabs her. Another time when she's starting to walk away from him because Christmas episode's chaotic. And that probably is a flop episode too, for as organized crime. They literally baited us by making us wait to the end to see Barbara. That's only why people watched it. Yeah, that one was a flop too.
Yeah. That's probably like one of the highest viewed episodes for that reason.
Yeah, they flopped. They stick at the last minute. It made you watch the whole thing. It was a flop. Somebody that we on some what a person talked about it like and how Olivia says no to his advances, but yet it still
He doesn't
happens. Like he
listen.
still continues to do it. Like I don't know which episode these are from, but like he says like let's go to lunch, bring Noah. She says no. Come over for Christmas. She does not answer the question. This is the Christmas episode. She does not come. And then the end of Blood Out, where he's at her house and like he tries to kiss her, it's real weird. And like he says no, she says he says what if things work out and she's constantly being backed into the wall. Like she does not answer the question. And like it's constantly a thing of like
Like he's basically like, "Come on, like it's me, like we can do this," and she's like, "Get
yeah.
away."
This person also comments saying, personally, I'm a little uncomfortable with the amount of time she's had to use physical strength to get her message across to him. For me, it's like he doesn't always understand words, or worse, he doesn't care. To me, that's toddler
Doesn't
behavior.
listen.
Yeah, which is a problem. Like that's constantly a thing of like no means no. We talk about this we talk about consent all the time. Like no means no. Like it's not like it becomes a like, come on, I'm your old partner. We can do this kind of thing where it's like it's not
No.
because that kind of relationship jeopardizes Olivia's like whole job. Like Rafael had told her that. Like, but because like that kind of thing would follow her record and like they would have to disclose and it would be a problem and all that other stuff would be bad for her and her career. Like it's not good. It's not okay. It's not anything that like we should glamorize because Olivia deserves better than that. They're like, and because I've written these notes, toxic behavior does not change overnight. And it's an example. This is an example about how to young people, how to. This is an example of what this is to young people. That it's inappropriate to have the champion of survivors be this type of man. The alpha male complex is not cute. Olivia deserves better.
Yeah, like,
Um,
for the like, Olivia is seen by so many as, like, the supreme, like, okay, not necessarily supreme, but, like, this champion, this amazing badass woman. If she gets in an abusive relationship, that's, like, counteracting everything she says.
yes,
I mean, yeah,
yes,
could they do it and have it be, like,
and
a
half her,
lesson she learns? Yes,
they
but
could.
do we need that to happen? No.
No, yeah,
She needs
it could
to
be something
learn
done
that lesson before
before
shit
we
hits
get
the fan.
but yeah, that's a before we have problem with kind of thing, okay? Because that's not good. And then we talked about like this is also, a bit of like the idea that Lydia has to have a man like Elliot in her life to be happy for and like to have room all for her son. And that's a big like toxic masculinity. Like,
She
no,
doesn't.
stop.
She's doing just fine with her son
Yes.
and
This
her
is
squad.
something that like try not to bring politics in this, but I think this is something that like matters. Last night the Democratic National Convention was last night, and Tim Walz spoke to excuse the nomination, and like there's his son is in the audience, and he's like in tears, and he's so proud of his dad.
That
He's
kid.
so proud of his dad, and it just melts your heart about how proud he is of his dad. But like, there's these people who are like making fun of him. Also, he's also neurodivergent, so that's not okay to make fun of the people who are
Yes,
neurodivergent. Okay, stop,
stop
don't
it.
do that. But still, people are like making fun of this child who's is still a child because of like he's shedding tears about how proud he is of his dad. Like, if you do like get a grip, like celebrate some joy in your life. Like, you don't need to embrace this toxic masculinity because he's a man. Like, no, get it together. Get it together. Like, we
Yeah,
can be so
that.
much better if we just, stop embracing masculinity. You know, we've talked a lot about like in our podcast, we have a why you should ship person. We talked about like why how not every like you don't have to have this alpha man in your relationship. Like you don't like some people need a compassionate, caring, gentle man to counter like that's something what Olivia would need. And I'm like we ship person, but you can
Yeah,
ship whatever you want. I
Olivia's
don't care.
been through
But
hell and back. She needs somebody who will take care of her.
yeah, she needs that kind of person. If she doesn't need somebody she's gonna have to babysit because he doesn't know how to get his act together. Like
Pretty much.
he is. So like that's kind of something that like I've always thought about and talked about. What else did I have to say about that? Literally like get it together. Like I don't really who knows, this video could come viral. Who knows? Or it could be a flop and we get people, dislike this video. I don't really care. But I
It
needed to
will
speak my mind.
probably be both. It could be both.
Could be both. We'll find out. Um, yeah, I've kind of already made my other point. Like, yeah, the main point was like stop bullying. Please stop doing that. Yeah, like, don't harass people. Don't say horrible things. Like literally, like don't harass people who work to make this show what it is. Um, don't harass people in general. Don't dox people. Don't do all those things that'll get you in legal trouble. Okay,
Yeah.
stop
Don't be.
doing that.
In other words, don't be rude and don't be stupid.
Literally, stop doing that because it's not cool. Stop bullying people because it's not okay. It's not okay to glamorize this old way of living. We've gotten pet like references and spousal privilege. We've all past the idea that women are property. Like we have to do better because we know better. We have to do the thing, be the change that we want to see. We
Also, the
have
fact
to
that
do this.
majority of the fan base is probably women.
Yes,
So the fact that you're attacking other women,
yeah.
like,
Like that's not it. That's not the vibe. That's not cool. Not cool. Please stop.
no.
Literally stop. Like it's not okay. And
Those
stop
people
bullying
who have
people.
gone against the child. You leave Ryan
Literally.
alone.
Yeah,
He's a
please stop doing that.
minor.
Yeah,
We
please
don't
stop
need
doing
to
it
get
to him.
him into this.
Yeah, please stop doing that. Yeah, stop doing that. Okay. Don't do that. And this kind of conversation goes beyond like just like EO shippers, other like ships in the fandom that do the same thing. Um, it's the overall message of this video, I think, is like please be better and be kinder to people because you don't know what they're facing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just
Like,
definitely
yeah, like
think about what you say before
the
you say it.
expression is you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You
Yeah,
really don't
think
know what
about
these
what you say before you say it. Yeah, and it takes a lot of work to make a show like SVU. And some of these things are based on true stories, whether they say it or not. They change the
and they're
details
like
to like this is not
digging
based on true
into this
stories, but still.
really deep, dark, sometimes horrific
Yeah.
content. Content.
Yeah, because no one will talk about it without it.
They're putting
Because like
themselves in this mental space to
yes.
teach, to show that this is something that needs to be discussed. So don't go at them when they're
Yeah.
already working so hard to do
Give
this.
this to you. Yes. Because I get sick and tired of people saying that like Mariska is a performative activist where like she puts her money where her mouth is.
Let's see. I am evidence, rape kit backlogs, Joyful Heart Foundation. Need I go on? Oh, the one with the Purina, I think the pet company that like the domestic violence shelters that allow women and pets. Yeah, basically she does so much stuff. Just most recently she like what was it? She raised like a whole bunch of money for like this campaign. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll figure it out later.
Okay, point is Mariska does a whole lot outside of the show. In
Yep.
addition to the show.
Yeah. So please be better. I think that's all I have to say for
Informative.
today. A little riled up.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's it.
Or you have to deal with us.
Yeah. That's why I made this video. I don't really care what people have to say.
As I mentioned, I think I've mentioned before, maybe I haven't. We have connections. So shut up and leave these people alone.
Yep. I think that's it though. I think we
Yeah.
get it for
Anyway,
today.
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with more content. It won't be as sad as this one, okay? I'm a little angry. We'll be
We
fine.
needed to get angry.
There's a lot of fun stuff soon. All right. That is all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hold on. Let me stop recording.